Hi and welcome to another episode. Today's episode is about the Netflix stock and their immense hit, the K-pop Demon Hunters, and what that hit means for Netflix stock as a whole, and also for the company, short term and long term. So I'm gonna dive in where we are at the moment in terms of valuation and what this might mean for Netflix going forward. As of now, Netflix is about $520 billion in market cap, so it's one of the biggest companies in the world in terms of market cap. So to push this valuation higher, we really need to have something special that can be a part of a revenue. So at the moment we have revenues for the last year about $36 billion. So for a specific franchise or a movie or something like K-pop Hunters to affect the sales of Netflix, it should at least generate over $1 billion in revenue. And with just $1 billion extra in revenue, which is very much for a single movie, that would mean about a couple of percent of the total revenue, and of course that can mean something for the share price, but we need something more from it to really push the stock price long term. At the moment, Netflix is priced about 12 to 13 price per sales, so it's a bit higher than it has been 2024, for example. And that is because the company has improved their ability to generate cash. So the cash flow every year has steadily improved during the management of Netflix here. And as a shareholder, that obviously makes me glad, and that has also pushed the share price higher. And this wasn't maybe the most obvious improvement. We have seen experienced investors like Ben Ackerman sell off his Netflix shares a long time ago. So they really missed 200% gains there. So what I saw in Netflix when I invested was the potential to really grab a bit of the Hollywood dominance. I thought that the shows they did and the retention rates and when I looked at my own subscriptions, I thought that Netflix is one of the things that I won't stop to pay for. And they have, for every year, becoming better and better, and their own titles has improved over time. And also adding specific region-based series and content, and they are very good to skew their content to different countries. So for example, if they are in India, they have a sort of one type of content. If they are in Korea, they have one type of content. In Sweden, they have one type of content, etc. So they are good to their business model is very flexible, and that makes their programs very sticky. And now going back to K-pop Demon Hunters, for that to push the valuation of Netflix, it needs to being able to influence some things. At the moment, the price through earnings is about 50. So to improve the earnings, which was $2.89 billion, this type of movie need to, I guess, generate more money than it cost for Netflix to buy the rights for the movie. So I think they bought the rights from Sony, for example, for quite much. But when they get a hit like K-pop Demon Hunters, where the songs from the movie is like top 10 in the world on Spotify, they can do so much with the franchise going forward. And obviously these type of hits really strengthen the brand as a whole, and you should not underestimate that. Some important metrics for Netflix is, for example, ARPU, the average revenue per user. So if they can retain or improve the revenue they have per user, that will be very beneficial for Netflix, and that can improve their compounding revenue every year, and also the earnings, the gross margins, etc. And having great content that just Netflix has, that no other platforms has, like for example Disney, HBO, etc. People will continue to pay for Netflix before ending subscriptions. Whereas if people have a rough time because of inflation or something else, they will probably end other subscriptions before, because in the end of the day, you don't want to miss out on important cultural events. And when people talk about things that happens that are very talked about, for example, K-pop Demon Hunters, where the songs are like number 1 in the world, number 3, number 4, number 6, number 10, etc., then people just want to see what it's all about. So that's one important aspect. These type of hits will let Netflix at least continue to retain their customer base, and that is always important, because a company like Netflix are always having to compete with other companies, and they can lose customers. They might not be able to grow, continue to add subscribers, etc. But now, after this success story, I heard from the management that about 40 million more subscribers was added. So that was very interesting. In the short term, it's still hard to know the exact numbers that are added or retained, and how we can contribute that exactly to the movie. But we know what an extreme viewership this has been, and what a cultural impact it has generated on Netflix. So at least 250 million people has viewed it, continuing to rise, and it's both for like young people from the age of maybe 6 up to adults. So it's all ages. You can see it with your family, you can see it alone. Through different lenses and perspective, the movie gives you different type of experiences. And what I found interesting about the movie was also that they now have actually, through a limited offering, released it on the cinemas as a sing-along. And I think it was about $20 million that it generated during the box office during 2 days, and that was like the highest in US at that weekend. So this movie is actually spreading to different types of events for Netflix, and showing that they can address different markets, just not the streaming markets. And that will be very important for Netflix going into the future, being able to diverse their revenue streams, not just having subscriber growths. They can have different type of growth from cinemas, from theaters, from manufacturing of dolls, toys, gaming, etc. I know they have a show called Gabby's Dollhouse, and when I go to stores, for example in Sweden, I can see Gabby's the products from that series being sold. And this will be the same with the K-pop Demon Hunters. Already my children wants to buy t-shirts, etc. We have listened to the songs in the car during the summers. So wherever we go, they want to have what they call K-pop. It's K-pop theme, etc. So this is a huge thing. This will continue, and Netflix has an immense opportunity to collaborate here with, for example, Sony, Spotify, or different type of collaborations to really have a long-term revenue spike from this show. So we also know that it's probably sequels coming, because this is such a hit, and the ending of the movie it wasn't like, oh, this has to be the ending forever. I thought it can be a standalone movie, but it can also be more movies. So probably because of the hit, it can have sequels, and that will have people being stuck on the Netflix platform, waiting for more movies to be released, maybe more series, bingeable series or whatever, spin-offs, etc., and that can earn them more money. Maybe the different characters can have standalone movies, depending on how big this thing grow. And also in terms of gaming, they can maybe add the IP of the series to, for example, Roblox or different kind of games to really spike the interest and the cultural impact of the series as a whole. And through this type of thinking, they can compete with Disney on another level and have improved the brand Netflix as a whole, and that would be very important for Netflix, obviously. Also, the music ecosystem is huge, and them being like the biggest, having the biggest song in golden in the world, we're over 400 million views on Spotify alone. Also add Apple Music and YouTube and all other platforms and downloads, and you start to understand the potential here, doing live concerts, doing all types of shows. We can see that probably we have a 1 to 2 billion opportunity here long term. And if we just think of like events and theatrical releases, etc., we probably have a $500 million possibility there long term to have an annual recurring revenue stream. And also through gaming, if that can be something really big, we might have a $300 to $500 million opportunity there long term. Obviously, this is just speculation. They have to execute and find the collaborations. I'm just pointing out what this type of hits can do for Netflix long term because they own the IP, etc. So this is what they have to do, at least to have significant effect on the stock price, because the market cap is so big. So to move a market cap of $520 billion, just like 10%, you need to move the market cap up like $50 billion. So, and how do you move a market cap $50 billion? You need like at least maybe revenue gains of $4 billion and like earnings from that to $200 to $300 million. So you need a lot of revenue and a lot of cash flow from that type of success. So that's why it's very rare for a single movie to contribute like a couple of billions, because if it was like that, the revenue of Netflix would be a lot more than $36 billion a year. But this hit is something else, and we might see long term $3 to $4 billion in annual revenue gains just from this friend movie and everything they can do from it. But that's just the opportunity, and it's not obvious that they will execute on that. But that's just what some things that I might think will coming up. So we can also say that this is a part of the future strategy of Netflix, not just being bingeable streaming service. This is more the company are more diverse and through like events. We know they have specific outings on the platform. Also, we know some sporting events we have seen like American football, etc. So if they have even more cash for long term, they can maybe buy up even more rights and have more events and have this snowball going for them, just being the main player in so many areas. And in the end of the day, we see how much money that are being put into sports, for example, and sports rights. So if they can get foot in there and have that type of attraction to the company, that will be immense. And I think they can use their platform and their increasing amount of users and viewers to attract different events, and through that pushing down the prices they have to pay for the rights, because it can be sort of a collaboration. Because if a sports team or maybe a franchise or a league get to show something on Netflix, they can get exposure through Netflix and through their ad stack. And also being more event-based, Netflix can work with their ads a bit different. And for example, in Super Bowl, you can the ad place there is worth an insane amount of money. And if Netflix can be like a main player and also have a lot of events, I think they can also add a lot more revenue through ads than they have at the moment. And that will also be an important revenue stream in the future if the company wants to, for example, triple their market cap to $1.5 trillion, because I want to see the company in 5 to 7 years to triple the market cap if I want to be an investor long term. And I feel like it's possible, but it's not easy. And you always need to use opportunities like this to push the boundaries of the company. And that is what I wanted to see. So, I mean, maybe short term we can see $1 billion in effect from this movie. We talk about like toys, we talk about music, and Netflix increased in retention rates, stronger brand, more cultural influence. More people wants to see other series on Netflix because they see that the things that have the Netflix logo on them, that Netflix are supposed to produce or own, that type of licenses. If that is high quality, people will probably watch other films and series more intensely. So short term we will see one effect, and long term hopefully we will see an even bigger impact. So maybe short term $1 to $1.5 billion in revenue gains, and long term through the hit of K-pop Demon Hunters we might see $3 to $4 billion in annual revenue gains. Obviously we can have a couple of years when we can use the IP and the specific franchise, but after that we need more hits that really get that cultural influence. Obviously we have Squid Game that helped Netflix move up a tier, and that has helped them. That type of shows has helped them, and now they have another one even bigger, I would say, in terms of adding the music part of it. And this is why I think this is such an important event for Netflix, and that all shareholders or potential shareholders should analyze the situation. And what does this mean at the moment for me? Well, I will not just run and add more shares based on these potential revenue gains, because a lot of what I say is things that might happen. Is a potential market share gains for Netflix if they can use this momentum to their advantages. They have done that here historically, but we can never be sure. Also, we can see softness in different parts of their brand, etc. We know the inflation in the world has increased, and people might not have, for the moment, as much money as they have, meaning it can be some softness there also for a company like Netflix, short term. But long term for me, I see great potential, not just this show, but as a whole. So this is that type of opportunity that I see for the company if I want to use the show specific K-pop Demon Hunters and add that to the economics of Netflix. So that's all for today, and I hope this brought you some insights. And thanks for hanging on there and listening to me, and have a nice day.